Hello, everybody. My name's Anna Larsen, and this is the next installment of my story. So I thought I would talk a little bit about diabetes. I am a type 1 diabetic, which is, so it's an autoimmune disease. My body killed the cells in my pancreas that produce insulin. For most of my life, I've had to inject insulin. And for the last 6 months or so, I am on an insulin pump that does that for me. So I thought I would talk a bit about diabetes and how it affects me and my life. And I know that there are lots of other people out there with different struggles, different diseases that they struggle with, whether it's epilepsy or asthma, chronic fatigue, or mental health issues. I know that different people have different struggles, but diabetes is mine. And there is a very strong link between chronic illness like diabetes and mental health issues. I have definitely suffered from, clinically diagnosed depression at various times in my life. Twice I've been diagnosed and taken antidepressant medication, which has really helped, along with counselling and so on. So there's that. There is a mental health impact. Diabetes, I have to think about everything that I eat, and I can eat whatever I want, but I have to look at whatever it is I'm eating or drinking, consider what types of sugars are in that food and how much, and literally like to how many grams of sugar is in that food. So I can tell you off the top of my head that Safeway or Woolworths multi-grain, home brand bread has got 28 point something grams of carbohydrate in every 2 slices. And my brain is filled with useless facts like that, how much carbohydrate is in various things. So I need to know that. It takes up a lot of brain space. So yes, diabetes is one condition that just follows you around like a little black cloud. Diabetics, type 1 diabetics like myself, on average, our life expectancy is about 12 and a half years less than everybody else. So that's another part of that little cloud that follows you around. Since I've had the insulin pump, my life has been a lot better and a lot easier. The pump, it has a sensor, and the sensor is attached to my stomach, to my skin, and it talks to the pump and tells the pump what my sugar levels are. I still have to prick my fingers and calibrate that sensor on, 2 or 3 times a day. But basically the sensor will tell the pump what my sugar levels are. If my sugar levels are going too high, maybe I've eaten something a bit sweet and haven't quite guessed the number of carbohydrates in it correctly, then the pump knows that from the sensor and increases the amount of insulin that it gives me to bring my levels down. And if my levels are dropping too low, the pump will slow down how much insulin it's giving me or stop altogether. So it's a very automatic process, and it's amazing. Makes my life a lot easier. Every time I eat, I still have to think about the carbohydrates, the sugars that I'm eating. Still have to put that information into the pump, but it does a lot of it for me. Prior to that, I was having injections, at least 3 up to 6, 7 injections a day, depending on what I ate, and doing finger pricks, etc. So it's great. The pump is awesome. The downside is that I had to get private health insurance to be able to get the pump. Otherwise, the pump itself is worth about $10,000 if you just go out and buy one. Obviously, I have never been in the financial situation to do. So I have to pay for private health insurance. I won't tell you how much that is, but it's not fun. In addition, the sensors that I'm talking about that hook to the pump, they are cheaper with a subscription. So I get a year-long subscription and they post them to me automatically every month, which costs $250 a month. So, $50 a week-ish. a little bit more than that for the sensors. And then, of course, I still have to buy the insulin, which is about $40 each time. So it's very minimal. If I had a healthcare card, that would be $5.80. And on top of that, they call it the set. So obviously the pump connects to my body. There's a tube, and it sort of injects under the skin, I guess, and then has to be moved and replaced every 2 or 3 days. So I have to purchase those as well. It costs about $30 a month for that. So the downside of the insulin pump is definitely the cost, financial cost involved. It just adds, another bill to a big long line of bills. Doesn't hurt, doesn't make anything worse as far as the mental strain of diabetes. It actually makes it easier to deal with on a daily basis. Overall, the pump is absolutely great, but I know that there's people out there that just couldn't afford it, and maybe people with other chronic diseases or issues that they're dealing with have the same problem, whether it's mental health issues. Counseling is really expensive, whether it's back pain, chiropractors, physio, so on, very expensive. It really is something that needs to be considered in the journey of being a successful student. Your health, your mental health, and your physical health really do have a big impact. If my sugar levels are too high or too low, I can't concentrate very well. I struggle. Luckily, with the pump, that doesn't happen very often, and I can usually rectify the situation fairly quickly, but it definitely impacts concentration levels. My mood as well, if my levels are too high especially, I get very irritable. Just ask my partner. Again, the pump has helped a lot with that, but it comes with a huge price tag. So pros and cons for everyone. I could talk more about diabetes. I could talk all day about it. But I guess I just wanted to share with you that it is a struggle, and say to all the students out there that may have some comparable health concern, I know it's hard, but just one day at a time, tackle it one day at a time. That's all you can do. That's all any of us can do. And I definitely take that approach with my diabetes. If I start to think too much about the future, 10, 20, 15 years from now, it's very scary and very hard to deal with. So I just do my best today. I guess that's probably all I wanted to say. So thank you for listening. Have a great week. Stay safe, stay motivated. And next time I'll see if I can talk to you about COVID and diabetes, which of course puts me in the high risk category. Thanks for listening. Have a great week.